Welcome back to Homesteading with the Zimmermans, where each week we give you another episode of what's happening here on our Northeast Iowa 21-acre homestead. My husband Alvin and I have been married for 25 years, and we have 7 children. 5 of those children still live at home. Our oldest 2 are married and no longer live at home, so this means we also have 2 son-in-laws and 1 grandson so far. So on our 21-acre homestead, we seek to preserve the self-sufficient lifestyle of our Old Order Mennonite heritage for the next generation. We involve the children in every aspect of the homestead, from raising and harvesting our own meat, gardening and preserving to fill the family's larder, or preserving the dairy from the family milk cows, plus all the many other skills that develop the character and integrity and relationships of a family that seeks to bring glory and honor to their Heavenly Father. Welcome back, YouTube family. My name is Ruth Zimmerman, and I am so happy to have you back here for another episode of Homesteading with the Zimmermans. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about using grass clippings as a weed barrier and as mulch in your gardens. I have been showing using grass clippings as long as I have been on social media because it's something that we practice for years and never fails. When I show it, I get lots and lots of questions. So today I am going to take you through a mowing day, and I am going to talk about using grass clippings, and I'm going to answer some of the common questions and try to bust up some of the myths that people believe about using grass clippings. I'm going to be so happy.
I wish I knew how to know it.
Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the difference between compost and mulch. Okay, so compost is organic matter that has been broken down and the nutrients are readily available to the plants and the soil. That's compost. Mulch is more or less a weed barrier, right? So mulch can be anything from cardboard or non-organic weed barriers like ground cover or plastic mulch, and organic matter that is not yet composted can also be called mulch. So that is what grass clippings are. It is organic matter that has not yet been composted. And the number one question I get is, well, aren't you just transferring seeds from your yard into your garden and then you're going to have a problem, right? And the solution to this problem is yes, in a sense, you would be doing that, except for one thing. You're going to pile those grass clippings on so thick that they're going to compost. And when something composts, it creates heat. And that heat is enough to sterilize any seeds that you may have gathered, right? So I've been doing this for years and years, and my garden does not have any more of a weed problem now than it did 20 years ago. And I have been putting grass clippings on my garden for years and years, and yes, we have a lot of weed pressure here. I was visiting with a fellow Iowan, and we were talking about weeds in the garden and how much weed pressure we have here. And part of the reason is that our road ditches are 6 feet deep, and they grow full of weeds. Now, let me tell you why we have 6-foot road ditches. Number one, it helps drain. It keeps the roads dry because the water all sits in those road ditches. and there's hundreds of miles of road ditches. Nobody's going to mow them. We mow in front of our house to try to protect our garden from weeds. And the other reason we have such deep road ditches is because snow. So in the wintertime, the snow drifts into the ditches and it keeps the roadways clear because the roadways are up a little higher, so the snow doesn't drift onto the roads as quickly. It does happen, but it helps in the winter. It helps keep the roadways dry in the summer. But yeah, then we have a lot of weed pressure. It's just the nature of the area we live in. So if you live in an area that has weed pressure from the skies, like we do here, grass clippings is going to help you. And every fence row has weeds, and we get root weeds, like ginormous weeds, 6 foot tall, ragweeds that go to seed. And then guess what else we get? We also get winds that are 30, 40 miles an hour, because we're out here on the prairie, right? So we get winds that are 30, 40 miles an hour, and guess what? Those weed seeds from the road ditches are going to blow and land in your garden all over. And so I was visiting with this fellow Iowan, and we were saying that very few people understand that our weed pressure comes from the skies. I can do everything possible in my garden to not let any weeds go to seed, because as Grandma said, 1 year of seeds, 1 year of seeds equals 7 years of weeds. So if you let weeds in your garden go to seed, you're going to battle those same weeds for 7 years. So I can follow Grandma's rule and not let any weeds in my garden ever get to seed, and I will still have a lot of weed pressure in my garden. And it's because of the fence rows and road ditches and all the weed pressure that we get from the skies. And that's one of the reasons I'm not a huge fan of wood chips, because I can pile wood chips on every year, but tree seeds, I get trees rooting and seeds that land on top of the wood chips and grow. So my best bet is to till and cover the soil. That's what works best here in our region. Okay, so you've piled your grass clippings on, they're nice and thick, and they're going to heat, right? They're going to go through the composting process because you've piled them on at least 6 inches thick, and they're going to compost. And when they compost, it creates heat, right? That sterilizes the seed. So if you have real tender seedlings, you want to leave some space. You don't want to push the grass clippings all the way up against the seedling, because the heat can damage your seedling and even kill it. So make sure that you keep your grass clippings back if you have real tender seedlings. I'm not worried about my brassica that I'm putting grass clippings on, because they're established and they're hardy. So I'm putting the grass clippings pretty close to them. So when you put an organic matter like wood chips onto your garden, you're not going to till there the next year, right? Because what happens is when you put an organic matter onto the soil, the microbes in the soil get to work and they start composting this organic matter. So the soil is busy. And you will know, when you start working with soil, you will know if the soil is busy, because it's clumpy and it's just different. And the other thing that happens is the nitrogen in the soil is what's working. And when the nitrogen is working at breaking down your organic matter, the nutrients are not available to the plants. So the nitrogen gets busy breaking down the organic matter, and therefore it's not available to your plants. Most of the time, we get away with putting organic matter on our gardens because only the soil that is touching the organic matter is busy composting it. So as soon you can put your plants down past the line of compost and they will find nitrogen. But when we till organic matter into the soil, it ties up the nitrogen in however deep you tilled. And it takes a long time for your plants to get established because they first have to send their roots down past all the organic matter that's worked into the soil to find the nutrients, to find the nitrogen, right? So whenever I put organic matter onto my soil, I am not going to till that soil until that's all composted. So with wood chips, here in our area, that takes a couple years. It takes a couple years for wood chips to compost on top of the soil. But with grass clippings, I can layer the grass clippings on, and by fall, those will have composted, and I can till that soil if I need to. So a lot of it depends on the weather that we have, how much it rains, how dry it is, all of those things make a difference in how fast your grass clippings break down. But where I'm putting grass clippings now, early in the year, by my brassicas, by July, I could till that if I needed to because the grass clippings are so tender. They're so easily composted by the soil. So I hope that makes sense to you and doesn't confuse you more. But grass clippings, it's one of the reasons grass clippings are my favorite is because I still need to till most of my garden because of the weed pressure that we get from the skies. And with grass clippings, within 3 months, 2-3 months, they're all composted and I can till again. So if you're putting compost onto your soil that's fully composted, you can work that into your soil and it shouldn't matter. Okay, let's talk about another very important form of weed control, and that is edge control. Here in our area, the yard and the prairie, as I call it, will consume a garden in a matter of a few short growing seasons. And one of the ways that I battle back against the prairie is by keeping my edges maintained. This area here, I neglected a little bit last fall. I saw that the yard was, taking over last fall and I didn't do it. So this was one of the first areas I focused on this spring. And I will link this edging tool in the description for you. But basically it's just a very straight shovel and I just use it and cut the edge. And then I lift it up to, get any roots out. We have a lot of Bermuda grass or wiregrass that tries to creep in, and it's very important to get in under the roots of this type of grass and lift the roots out, because anywhere that you break this type of grass, anywhere you break the roots, they're just going to send out 10 more sprouts. So it's a very good idea to just lift this type of grass out and then try to not break the roots more than you have to. So because you have created a ledge at the edge of your garden like this, the lawnmower wheel sits inside that ledge and does a lot for weekly maintenance of this edge. But about once a month, I will take my little battery-powered weed eater, which I'll link in the description for you because I really, really love it. And I will just hold it upside down and trim the edge back even further because some of the grass does escape the lawnmower blade, but having a nice edge or ledge like this helps your lawnmower do most of the maintenance.
perfect spot. No. That's where the fryer can get it.
Well, friends, thank you for stopping by and having a little garden chat with me. I enjoyed having you. Don't forget, if you enjoy our videos, to subscribe, like, comment, share. We appreciate all of you, and we will see you on Saturday.